Hey everybody. I wanted to go ahead and talk about Love and Hip Hop New York. I don't watch Miami. I can't get into it. And I didn't do a review last week because, to be honest with you, I have no interest in talking about Safari and Erica. They make my ass itch. I just can't get into them. I can't get into the marriage. I can't get into the wedding. I can't get into any of that. All right. Had one little moment with Erica that I actually agreed with her, but other than that, like I said, I just can't get into that whole storyline. And Yandy and Chrissy and all this other stuff with Yandy. I think last week with Yandy, she was talking to Mendice's mother, talking about, Mendice's is coming home and she got this foster child, and that was kind of her dilemma, even though I think it's kind of fake that Yandy wouldn't know what the rules are about having a foster child and having a felon in the house. I don't know. I just think that's fake because everybody thinks that Yandy is just about her business, but how would she not know? She act like she was just so like, I didn't even know. I didn't understand. Yes, you do, girl. Bye. And Mendices came home a few days ago. So, I guess they're going to play that storyline out, how dramatic that was when she came. Y'all got to see the video. I did it on my other video. He came home and they got out the Bentley and he threw his prison clothes in the garbage, all this other bullshit. And then the whole Sin, Joe and Tahiry thing. I don't think Joe and Tahiry want each other at all. I just don't buy it. It's entertaining because I do think that something is brewing between Sin and Tahiry. And sometimes, even though these storylines are often scripted, I think it does brew real shit. So I'm interested in how this whole Sin and Tahiry thing is going to play out. But I do not buy for 1 second that Joe and Tahiry want each other. Joe has kind of alluded to the fact that that's some bullshit on his podcast, and we knew that. It's just not happening. But I'm going to watch it. I'm going to let it play out. But I wanted to focus my attention mainly on Chrissy and Jim. Now, I want to focus my attention on them because I think that this turned into a really good conversation, a good conversation to have. And it's because, now let me just kind of give you the background. So on this last episode, Joe and Jim are hanging out at this cooking class that, of course, Mona Scott Young made them go take, right? Because they ain't just took that shit randomly. They had to take it because that's what Mona Scott wanted to take. So they went to take this cooking class, and Jim tells Joe that Chrissy has been living in Miami for the last 3 years, that she wanted to basically get away from him. She's been living in Miami for the last 3 years, and she has moved back, and they're learning how to live with each other again. All right. She's been busy with the shit she's been doing. He's been in California doing what he's been doing with his weed business and stuff like that. And he just wants to be romantic with her and get things back on track. Now, when I first saw this and I saw like the little thing with him cooking for her and stuff, I'm like, you've been with this man for 16 years and he ain't never ever sat down and cooked you nothing. Like, I just thought that was kind of funny, but I guess, right? But here's where things get a little serious, and this is kind of like the conversation I want to have. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and have you guys listen to this audio of Chrissy basically telling Jim that she no longer wants to get married and she is fine with the way things are between them. Go ahead and listen to the audio.
I respect you more than anything in the world, and I respect what we have more than everything in the world. This is why I'm still here after all these years and still try to do whatever it is to be with you.
You know what's crazy? From inception, people have always had something to say about our relationship. And it's partly my fault because I proposed to you. After that proposal, we didn't get married because we weren't ready. And you've asked for marriage after that. I wasn't ready. And we're still together. We have a crazy bond. Nobody can tear it apart. We've been together for, what, 1 million years? And if marriage never happens, I don't feel a way about it anymore because it doesn't complete us.
But I do want to get married. I believe that every woman who's in love or is in a strong relationship that we are deserves to have that.
I don't feel that way. And I know it sounds crazy. In the beginning, I thought that was the end-all, be-all. I thought that was natural progression. But at this point, what is that going to change for us? I know I'm the one that started all this marriage talk 1,000 years ago. You saw me propose. Will you marry me? Sorry. And then he surprised me.
You say you want to marry me.
So it's just like, leave me alone with this whole marriage thing. I just want you to know, I'm with you. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I know people that get married and get divorced in a year. They get it annulled in 6 months. We're fine the way we are.
For us, I think we deserve it. At some point.
We've been through everything together. I'm sitting in the paint with you. What can make me go any harder? I just think the marriage will put extra pressure. And I just don't want to put those type of demands on our relationship anymore. So right now, we're not on the same page about marriage. And that's okay. We ain't been on the same page about that. Ever. There's nothing I won't do for you, your son, your sisters. You feel me? Like, we family. I even deal with your mother when I have to.
So yeah, I wanted to play that with you, for you guys, because it just kind of brought up some really interesting conversations. And I was looking on Twitter yesterday when I finally got back on, and I saw people kind of like still clowning Chrissy about this. Now, Chrissy is saying she doesn't want to be married to Jim, even though she wanted to be married to him. You guys might recall she did, in fact, propose to him. She no longer is in that spot, and a lot of people are doubting her. And I'm saying to you guys, are asking you, do you believe her? Now, here's the thing. I look at Chrissy as pretty calculated, okay? I think the reason why Chrissy even agreed to come back to Love and Hip Hop New York is because she wanted to clear up a lot of negative press that's been out there about her, about the foreclosure. She knows people have been dragging her forever about proposing to Jim and them never getting down the aisle. After all these years, after she proposed, he proposed, they was on marriage boot camp, still ain't married. And I think she came on here to basically clear that up and use this show to kind of say what she wanted to say, which I felt like that's what she used that moment for. She wanted to make sure y'all asses knew that she no longer want to be married to Jim, so that she can't be embarrassed about it no more. That folks can't drag her no more about it. If she says it out of her mouth, I don't want this. He wants it, but I don't want it. And a lot of people just ain't believing her. Because remember, there was a time where she would have done anything to be married to this man. So much, in fact, that she did, in fact, drop down on the knee and propose to him. Oh, that still makes me cringe. But my thing is it possible that she is telling the truth? That maybe she really don't want to get married to him anymore. Maybe she has moved on. The fact that she moved down to Miami 3 years ago tells me that maybe she really is over it. That doesn't mean that she don't love him, but maybe she really has moved on mentally from that. And that's possible. And I also want to make it clear that not everybody, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to be married. Sometimes I know I go back and forth with, in arguments with my friends and stuff. I was once a married woman. All right. And sometimes it's the end all be all for certain people. But in some situations, some people are like, listen, I'm okay if I never get down the aisle. Now, I don't necessarily know if I always believe people when they say that, because sometimes I feel like maybe you feel like you're never going to get down the aisle and you're settling. A lot of people feel like Chrissy in this moment is settling. She realizes that Jim ain't going to never change his attitude about marriage. So why keep trying to, even though he technically has on TV, why keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it when we just haven't done that? You heard her say, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've been together all this time. I've been with you through thick and thin with all this bullshit with his criminal stuff and the foreclosure. And so if we've been together all this time, why does a marriage certificate need to be brought into this when we know that people get married and within moments they're divorced when they've been together all this time? If we're committed, we're committed. And I asked you, Chrissy, are you really committed? Because again, you've been living in Miami for the last 3 years. And you know what they say? They say women leave mentally long before they leave physically. So that lets me know that Chrissy probably been checked out of that relationship long before she actually moved away. You're not going to tell me that this is a woman who's dying to get married when she moved way down to Florida and he's up in Jersey. And there was no reason to, other than I want to get away from him. Also, Chrissy ain't no fool. She probably don't want her finances mixed in with his. And I just think that their relationship has evolved. I think so. I think their relationship has evolved and more into, they love each other, but I don't think nobody getting butterflies when the other person walk in the room. I just think that people get comfortable and they get settled. And that's what it sounds to me, that Chrissy just has gotten settled. And more importantly, she just don't want to be embarrassed about it no more. She said that on that show the other day because she doesn't want to be embarrassed by it anymore. You cannot spray her no more about it because she said it. Even if you don't believe her, she has said she don't want to get married. All right. And it is what it is. Now, here's my thing. I would feel a type of way if I ain't got married to this man in all these years. And he up and, we decided to go our separate ways, and he up and married the next woman he see after a few months. Because you know what the old saying is that a man knows if he want to marry this woman within months or something. Like, he knows that this is the woman he want to spend the rest of his life with. And so that should tell Chrissy something, that he never took the initiative to propose to her. She had to drop down on the knee. So that should have told her a long time ago that Jim wasn't in it like that. That he may look at her more as a mother figure. You see how she always fussing at him and mothering him. That I would feel a type of way if after I've been with you for 16 years, you go off and do that. And that could very well happen. They're just too afraid to move forward. I know couples like that all the time. You're too afraid to move forward. So you just will settle with this, even though you're not getting you're not getting filled up by it anymore. You'll just take it because, well, it's easier than going out there and trying to figure out what the rest of my life will look like and starting over. I've been with him all this time. I don't want to let him go. And then he run off and marry the next woman because he feel those kind of butterflies that I don't give him anymore. And I don't want to be listed as no goddamn special friend on a man. Heaven forbid something happened. She just a special friend on the damn obituary. Longtime girlfriend. You know how that sounds? I mean, it's just like, come on now, his special friend. That sounds crazy as hell. She can't make no decisions for this man because they're not married. She can't make no medical decisions if something was to happen to him. She has no power in his life like that, unless he in fact give it to her. But again, I just think it's interesting. It's really, really interesting because, like I said, a lot of people, like myself, think that maybe she has moved on mentally. And maybe she really don't necessarily want to get married to him anymore. But she can't say that she never wanted to, because we saw that. There was a time where she would have given anything to be Mrs. Jim Jones, but people change. And the fact that she moved away for 3 years tells me that I think her feelings did change. They just so settled with each other, and that they just don't want to even try to go out there and really find that thing. A lot of people are like that though. A lot of people, and then, like I said, there ain't nothing wrong with her not wanting to be married to him. It ain't nothing wrong with her not wanting to be married. But she can't sit there and say that she never wanted to. I just believe her when she says she don't want to now. I really do believe her on that one. I do. And I would have been doubtful until I realized that she did move away from him for the last several years. And her, like I said, after that whole foreclosure, her name ain't on it. So that ain't her problem. And that should tell you everything you need to know too. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, and that's kind of where I'm at. Do you guys believe Chrissy when she says she doesn't want to be married to Jim Jones anymore? I actually believe her this time. I just think that she has checked out a long time ago. She love him, but not a marriage kind of love. Like I get butterflies from this man. She just love him. They just kind of comfortable and they settled. But is that the kind of love you want? Do you want that settled love? Like, yeah, I've been with this man for 15 years. I done been through everything with him, but we not going to get married and it's cool. And is she just trying to convince herself of that? Is she trying to convince us or herself when she made that big statement saying like, oh, I just don't want this anymore? You know, like I said, I told you my thoughts on it. I just think that Chrissy said all of this and used the show to say all of this and using this platform because she don't want to be embarrassed about it no more. And she don't want people dragging her about not being married no more. But that's just my take on it. I want to know what you guys think about this after listening to the audio and listening to Chrissy and knowing that Chrissy, in fact, did propose to him. Do you believe her when she says she just don't want to be married no more? I kind of do. I kind of do. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care.